very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This evening, before coming here, when I told my mother that I was coming to this event, she said, "Why you? It's only a woman who can understand the feelings of another woman." Coming to this beautiful complex, the Susan Dalal Center, I thought it's a very appropriate venue because this very fine institution, the Susan Dalal Center, it's named after a young woman who died in her prime before she could achieve her full potential as an individual, as a woman. But she was remarkable enough for her family to dedicate and commemorate her memory with this very great institution, which is one of the cultural hubs of Tel Aviv. And in many ways, I think her story and the story of the women here who have written this book are similar. They haven't written about heroines, famous people, and politicians, but just the struggles of everyday living that women face all over the world, of building their families, their communities, and their societies. India and Israel are traditional societies, but in both countries, women have a very important place. In India also, for example, in Hindu religion, some of our most important gods are actually goddesses, and they represent strength, education, and learning. Where I come from the eastern part of India, the most worshipped god is actually the goddess Durga, and you'll be surprised to know that the goddess Durga is the slayer of demons. She has 10 hands and she represents strength and vitality. And in India, businessmen, they pray to the goddess of wealth, Lakshmi, and students before examinations, they invariably pray to goddess Saraswati, the god of learning. So there is a very old tradition of the role of women in India, and as Nissim Moses said, the government also has taken affirmative action. For example, the Constitution mandates a reservation of 1/3 for elections to all local bodies in India. And therefore today in India, you will be surprised to learn that there are 1 million, yes, 1 million elected women representatives all across the country in every village in India. And sooner or later, these women will take charge of their societies, their villages, and have a decisive say in the way in which they are run, in the way in which the monies that come from the government are spent for them, for their families. It was only last month that we mourned the passing away of a very famous Jewish lady called Ruth Pravar Jhabwala. Now, she was a Jewish lady who came to India. She made India her home. She married an Indian Parsi gentleman, and she wrote books with Indian themes. In fact, she's the only person to have won both a Booker Prize for literature as well as an Oscar for writing the screenplay for one of the films that was based on her book. And I think her life and her works in many ways represents the encounter between India and Israel. And the stories in the book, I'm told, also represent similar encounters between India and Israel. You heard a story of Aviva Miller, stories of the problems they faced because of migration, because of displacement of their families, of coming to a completely different culture. And I think through this encounter has come and I think an important literary contribution. I think we need more such encounters between India and Israel, more such conversations between India and Israel. Not because we represent two very old civilizations, and people who have had so much to contribute to human history and to human culture, but also because we have very vibrant contemporary societies, societies in which our women play a very important role. And Nissim Moses was speaking about that earlier. I can remember a time when the world had two very famous prime ministers, Golda Meir in Israel and Indira Gandhi in India. Even today, this tradition continues. The leader of opposition in India is a woman, Sushma Swaraj, as is the leader of opposition here in Israel. The head of India's second largest bank and the largest commercial bank, which has 3,000 branches, is a woman. And of course, the head of Lumi Bank, the largest commercial bank here, is also a woman. And I think there are so many of these examples that we should talk about, that we should write about. And I look forward to more such events which deal with issues of not only stories of Indian Jews, but all the Eastern Jews who have come to Israel and who have contributed so richly to its culture and modern development. In conclusion, I wish to say that this book is called Ichikadana, Breaking the Silence. And Ichikadana is a famous, it's a famous Bollywood song, and it means one seed, two seeds, a seed above, a seed below. And it's actually a puzzle, and the answer to which it represents, or it talks about the pomegranate fruit. So I wish that the seed that has been sown today with this event and with these magnificent stories one day grows to be a large pomegranate fruit which represents the inner beauty, the strength and vitality of all women in India and in Israel. I thank you.
תודה רבה, Thank you. אני בטוחה שכולכם הבנתם.